Okay, great. Here we go. Okay. So welcome everybody, and thank you very much for giving of your time to participate in the open house here of CyberWise, Tzomet's Cybersecurity Professional Training course. The course, as you know, is live online. So it's like this. We're together, but of course, some of us are in England, some in Gibraltar, or my English friend here is actually in Israel. But we're all over the world. We have in Far Rockaway, we have North America, and that's how the course is. There's people from all over. We have certain things in common. We're Jewish people, and we have certain shared values and so forth. So it works really well. There's a really nice dynamic in the classroom that helps people learn from one another and motivate one another. So we've had a real lot of good experience, positive experience of bringing people together in this way live online. So I want to tell you just a drop of background about how we got to this, where this program came from. And Tzomet Career Counseling and Training is an organization, an Israeli nonprofit organization, which my wife and I founded in 2009. That's already a pretty long time ago. And my wife and I both have master's degrees. I'm from Cleveland. She is from Cleveland. I went to Columbia University, and I've been around the block. Okay, I have grandchildren, Kanai Nahara. So I've done a lot of things. I was CFO of a publicly traded company. I was managing the operations of an investment fund over $100 million. And then I worked a little bit in the field of cybersecurity. And my wife and I, we live in the Charedi community in Har Nof. We're in Har Nof. Baruch Hashem, we've been here a long time. And the Charedi community is wonderful. But the issue of Parnassa needs a little bit of a push, of an improvement. And so we have deep understanding in psychology and personality types. And so my wife started giving personal career counseling to Beis Yaakov women and yeshiva people and so forth. And we realized that they're missing some knowledge, self-knowledge about themselves and knowledge about the marketplace. But the truth is, they didn't have that many great opportunities. Like a Beis Yaakov girl could be a teacher, and there were not that many attractive pathways. And so we've always been looking for pathways, and we found a few different ones. But over the past 5 years, we focused really strongly on cybersecurity because we found it's an excellent pathway, and I'm going to explain why in just a minute. But my point here is that we're worldly. My wife's from Russia. And so we're citizens of the world. We're involved in worldwide business, and we are doing business, cybersecurity business all over the world. And so we're connecting people and their personalities and their strengths and putting them to work in a positive way that they can earn a nice living to help support their family. That's what we're really about. We care about that. So we have our own diagnostic tool of understanding people's personalities. It's an online test. We supply our career counseling services to Touro College in Israel, so all of their students take our test. And based on that, again, we started this program, which is based on the principle of learn, train, work. We're not just, going to teach you abstract stuff about cybersecurity. If you want to do that, you should take a free online course, okay? We're going to train you hands on the keyboard to do stuff, to hack ethically, and to protect companies against hacking. And then we're going to help place you in an internship where you're going to be working in company, maybe for minimum wage, maybe for free, whatever. And then we're going to help you get your first job, and you're really going to work. And at first you won't know what you're doing. It'll be scary. But if you're brave, if you're ambitious and brave and ready to take on new challenges, and you're a little bit technical, so this stuff interests you, so then you've come to the right place, and we could do really good things together. It's a puzzle with a number of different pieces, your career. And today careers change a lot. We're going to talk about today what a great opportunity the field of cybersecurity is. There's so many opportunities and they're growing. But what you're going to do in your career is a combination of who you are, your skills, your personality, your inclinations, what makes you happy. And the truth is, we have had students, maybe you're rich, okay, and you don't need to work for a living, but you're fascinated by cybersecurity. We've had students like that too. that they finish the course and they're like, thank you very much, but my husband's rich or I'm rich, and so I'm not really going to get a job. Okay. But most people are coming here to get a job. They want full-time, they want part-time, they want something that fits in with the community norms and expectations. I want whether a firm environment or a home environment. I need to make a certain amount of money. What the job factors, the demand. And of course, that's why we're here in cyber, because there's a huge demand. So cyber is a good fit for our community because of the following reasons. There's a shortage of talent, both in Israeli and the international cybersecurity industry. And I'm going to show you some numbers later on. We're talking about millions. We are short millions of smart people with their fingers on the keyboard that are going to protect us against the bad guys. And I'm going to show you today a little bit who the bad guys are. The barrier to entry into this field is brains. So if you have brains, if you're smart, and again, you have to be interested. If you're not interested in technical stuff, then it probably won't work for you, because you have to appreciate and be interested a little bit in computers and technical stuff, because it's technical. You do not need a college degree. A college degree is a plus, okay? I think Nomi told me she has a master's. That's excellent, okay? That's great on your resume. That makes you more valuable, etc. But even a young person, Shira's just starting out, maybe she doesn't have a college degree yet, but if you have the skills, if you can show them what you know how to do, you can get a job. Additionally, in this field, there's something called certifications, which are online. You go and you take tests and you get, there was one's called a CEH or an EJPT, different stuff that tests your knowledge of cybersecurity, and those are valuable. The course prepares you to start on that pathway, and it's something that as a professional in the cybersecurity industry, you will keep doing throughout your career. So even people, the teachers of our courses who have been in the industry for 20 years and they come from leading units in the Israeli army, they continue to get more and more certifications from these international companies, because it shows your clients what you know, and it makes you more valuable as a company or as a professional. So that's part of like this field. I'll say in a word, it's ongoing learning, continuous learning. So if you love learning and learning new stuff, you're in the right place. And of course, our community, right? We're a Daf Yomi community. We're a Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam community. We're a community that for thousands of years has emphasized learning. So we have a strong advantage. That's one of the nice fits about this field and this community. There is a high pay after short education. Again, if you become a brain surgeon, you'll earn really nicely, but it'll take you a long time to become a brain surgeon. Here we're talking about becoming a cybersecurity professional in a year, okay? And your first job is not going to pay great. It's not like you win the lottery, but after year 2 or 3 on the job, you're going to be earning a very, very nice salary. I'm going to show you, in fact, an article that I just picked today off the internet. It said that if you're a cybersecurity professional, your salary is whatever you demand. It's a slight exaggeration, but there is, again, huge demand for people and a shortage. There are flexible work from home possibilities. Our community is a community of families. The Jewish family is at the center of our lives. I, Baruch Hashem, have a huge family, and many of you I know care a lot about your families. And so you want to be there for your family, whether you need to work from home or just, today, a lot of companies have hybrid. You need to go into the office once or twice a week, but otherwise you can work from home. It is possible, again, there are part-time opportunities. Probably not at the very beginning, but once you're a little bit further on and you have expertise, then you could negotiate a part-time gig if that's what you wanted. So for all these reasons, there's a really nice fit here between the cybersecurity industry and our community. I'm telling you a little bit more about Tzomet. This is my beautiful wife, Hannah, and she's speaking here at Tel Aviv University. And this is an Israeli guru of the cybersecurity industry named Karen Elazari. So we're really well connected in the ecosystem of Israeli high tech and cyber, and we have connections in the US also. There's a number of startups, basically Charedi guys in the New York area who have cyber companies, and we're in touch with all of them. And we are helping our students start out with them. And we had a young woman from Lakewood who finished our course a few months ago, and she got a job right away with AT&T. I'm embarrassed to tell you, but she's almost earning six figures, and she's a 20-year-old girl, okay? And she does not have a college degree, but she took the course and she marketed herself really well. She went there and she impressed them and she got the job. So we're going to lead you to good places. These are Charedi women in cyber. I'm sure you've heard about Hani Neuberger. She's from actually a billionaire family, but that's not why she got this job. She got this job because she's smart, and she's the head of the cybersecurity for the NSC, and she's a Beis Yaakov woman. This is Agur Hasid. She's a Russian woman like my wife, a Baal Shtuva, and she works for Gardi Corps, and she's on our team. She's one of our advisors. She helps our students. So there's a number of Haredi people who are really at the top of this field. Here's another guy, a younger guy. I think he's now about 30, and his name, I always forget his name, but Yisrael Gort is his name, and he's a B'nai Baraker, okay? Which means he went to Yeshiva Ktana and Cheder. So where did he learn how to hack, okay? You learn from experience. You learn by putting your hands on the keyboard, and you learn online, and you learn in our course. And if you're motivated, the sky's the limit. So he has his own company. He's ranked in the top hackers in the world. And so it just shows that it doesn't matter where you're coming from. If you have ambition, a little bit of brains, and interest and dedication, diligence, you can do really well. Another sort of proof of that point, I attended, there's a company called SANS, S-A-N-S, and they are in professional training, particularly in the field of cyber. And I attended a cyber intel workshop in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago. And a lot of the people there were from the military, men and women who had served in the U.S. military, or they had served in the intelligence community. That means, the CIA, whatever, or commercial fraud research, or from law enforcement, police force. But who works in the cyber field? 34%, which is, as you know, is more than a third, have no prior experience, which is essentially the people we're training. People have no prior experience in the field of cyber. Nobody was born knowing cybersecurity, right? This is a learned skill. And so the question is, where do you learn it? When do you learn it? But I've proven that no age is too old. Okay, we have students in their 60s and 70s who have learned it greatly and succeeding. And certainly we have students, in much earlier stages of the game, and they're learning it. Again, it sounds sort of crazy, but we've taken Beis Yaakov girls, and they've learned cyber by us. They've done an internship. They've gotten a job. We have a young woman who now works in Palo Alto as an ethical hacker, whatever. So we have a program that really works. I want to share the idea that although I said you need to be technical, because you do, but it's not like only a certain personality type is going to succeed in this field. We're experts in personality types. I'm not going to spend too much time on going through different personality types, but there are people that are called people, and there are people who are like thinking of accounting, regulations in accounting, and there are people like hackers. They're always looking how to take the shortcut, maybe how to cheat, how to get the most out of things. They like to take things apart. Okay, they're technical, and that's called red team. There are people who like to teach, okay, teachers, nice personality and so forth. There's room for them in this field in cybersecurity awareness training. There's a tremendous shortage and importance in training everybody, old people and young people, non-technical people, how to be careful online, not to click on phishing emails and so forth, and there's vishing and smishing. So training is really important. And of course, R&D, people who are really smart and scientific and want to do research. There's just a wealth of opportunity for those people. So this is about that, various pathways in cybersecurity for disparate personality types, that there's room in the industry for all kinds of people. And I have a really great YouTube video from InfoSec, and I'm going to share that now. Our course, incorporates lots of materials from all over, from the internet. And so this is an example of that. Let me get it up and share. Okay, share sound.
There's more advanced technology in your phone than it took to get America to the moon. The apps and games of today were the subject of science fiction just 30 years ago. But with technology changing so fast, it can be hard to know what's going to happen next, or where the next threat is going to come from. As someone raised with advanced modern technology, you have experience that experts a few decades ago would never have imagined. And you're going to have opportunities to turn that experience into a profitable career. This presentation is a quick introduction to the growing field of cybersecurity and how to get started on the path to a cybersecurity job. Cybersecurity is usually defined as the use of techniques or skills to protect data, networks, and systems from attack. Everyone knows someone who's been hacked, or has had their identity stolen, or even just lost control of their Facebook for a few hours. And there's always bigger attacks in the news. Data breaches at major companies means that millions of people can have their data stolen and sold on the black market. Hackers can use this data to make money, find more data to sell, or even ruin their victims' lives just for the fun of it. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Cybersecurity experts are the ones who are able to fight cyber criminals on their own turf, stopping them from accessing important information and keeping people safe. There's currently a cybersecurity skills shortage in the United States. There simply aren't enough people to fill all of the available jobs, and the problem keeps getting bigger. See, hackers don't have to be smart. The internet is full of tutorials about how to use pre-made scripts and attacks to wreck someone else's day. Most hackers don't know a lot about computers and don't take time for special training or study. They just grab that pre-made script and go cause a mess. That means there's millions of low-level hackers out there. Cybersecurity experts, on the other hand, are fewer but more valuable. They've taken the time to study a problem and know how to use their talents. That means cybersecurity experts can be harder to find, and they're desperately needed. Think of it this way. Even if an enemy hacker is only level 1, 50 enemies can still overrun a fortress. You need at least one level 50 cybersecurity expert to beat them all. Here are a few of the many kinds of jobs that you might see in the cybersecurity field. Graphic designer. Michelle is an artist. She works for a cybersecurity firm designing posters and creating eye-catching images to teach people about security. Social engineering trainer. Lee is an actor. He understands how to portray emotion and tell a convincing story, so he teaches other people how to tell when someone is lying or trying to scam them. Network security admin. Joe likes puzzles and problem solving. She's good at spotting when something doesn't fit a pattern, so she monitors the computer networks and is the first to see when a hacker is trying to break in. Social media consultant. Hendrik was on Tumblr before anyone else. He always knows what's trending before it even trends, and has seen all the scam emails and messages that get sent around. He works as a consultant, explaining the possible dangers of social media to people who don't know much about it. Ethical hacker. Adam used to want to be a hacker. Instead, he joined up with a security firm and became an ethical hacker, which lets him do the same thing legally. Adam's job is to play the role of cyber criminal, testing targeted systems and seeing if he can break into them. If you think cybersecurity sounds like a good fit for you, then great. You're in for a wild ride with a lot of challenges and opportunities. Here's a few things you can do to start preparing for a career in cybersecurity. Take courses online. There are a lot of online training programs like Coursera. Remember, though, that many programs are scams and don't offer real certifications, so always research the course and double-check with your parents to be sure you're getting a real program. Practice, practice, practice. Play with code and talk to other people who are interested in computers and security. Find a mentor. Ask your teacher or a family member who knows about cybersecurity if they'll mentor you. See if you can arrange a visit to a local technology company and ask about what kind of attacks they have to deal with. You'll hear some good stories. Join a camp. Many organizations offer tech boot camps to teach you the basics of security, programming, and even ethical hacking. Participate in competitions. Challenges such as the Global Cyber Olympics will give you a chance to test your skills against other people of varying skill levels, and prizes include free courses, streaming video, and cash. This skills gap means that you have a very valuable opportunity. Chances are you've grown up with a PC, a smartphone, a tablet, or all three. If you're 18, you could have 12 years of experience using a computer, and that means you already know things that older generations have had to be trained on. And let's be honest, the money can be pretty good too. The one thing that most intimidates people about cybersecurity or any computer job is the idea that you need to know how to program a computer. While understanding and writing code can be very valuable skills, a lot of employers would prefer someone who's smart and willing to learn over someone who can do code and nothing else. Often, the answer is yes. A bachelor's degree in computer science, for example, can be very helpful in understanding cybersecurity. However, if you don't want to go to college, you can still learn a lot of things on your own that will make it easier to break into cybersecurity. Thanks to the internet, you have an incredible amount of information at your fingertips. Today, we went over the basics of cybersecurity and cybersecurity careers. We reviewed what cybersecurity is and why it's a growing industry, as well as a few of the jobs that are open for different skill sets. Finally, we went over what you can do to be a part of the cybersecurity field. Thanks for taking the time for our presentation.
So that's from a company called InfoSec that is doing training. I thought it gives a really excellent overview of the opportunities in the field, etc. So that's why I shared it. Okay, let me go back to my presentation. So a lot of people think if I'm going into cybersecurity that, it's like a particular job, but that is really far from the truth. The truth is that it's a whole industry, and there are many, many different pathways and branches even of the industry of people doing very different things. Their work day is going to be very different. So let me just show you a little bit in this picture of some of the things that we see here. So cybersecurity domains. Here's security operations, incident response, investigation, forensics, eradication, etc. Threat intelligence, which is more research oriented. User education, which is training and awareness. Laws, governance, which is laws and regulations. We often call this branch GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. We're going to talk more about compliance shortly. Risk assessment, penetration testing, red team, which means you get hired to attack a company's systems, their website, and whatever online exposure they have, just test to see what are their vulnerabilities. The field is related to physical security. Like a company has to have a lock on the door and maybe a fence around their premises, so too that's what we're doing in this industry. We're creating fences and boundaries and barriers to the bad guys that want to get at our information and take advantage. Security architecture, cryptography, career development, okay? They talked about coding, and we do a little bit of coding in the course in a language called Python. 3 of the classes are devoted to elementary Python coding that teaches you how to get your computer to do stuff in an automated way. So you don't have to know coding in advance. Obviously, it's a great skill if you already do, but it's something we teach a little bit of in the course. Traits for success: curiosity, love of learning, attention to detail, hands-on approach, creative problem solving, calm under pressure. And one of our teachers, Leo, he always says, he brings this in every class: the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. So it's try, and try again until things work. Another one of our teachers, Omer, he says that it's 90% frustration and 10% success, which I think is a terrible ratio. But there is a lot of trial and error and a lot of problem solving. That's just the nature of working in technology. My daughter-in-law works in Cyber as a computer programmer, and she also said there's a lot of frustration, but then a great degree of satisfaction when you get something to really work. A little more background on the industry and explaining why there's such an opportunity at this time. So this is a great book I read called Cyber War by Richard Clark, who's been an advisor to presidents. And of course, we are in a cyber war right now. And, the hackers and nation states, North Korea, Iran, Russia, China, the US, Israel, they're very, very active players. So war between Iran and Israel is a lot online. But this is today's headline from CNN. Russia will hit the US with a cyber attack if it is sanctioned, cyber expert warns. We're already in a warfare state. Cyber experts told a bipartisan group of governors that confronting cybersecurity needs to take a front seat in this new digital age. So yeah, Russia's threatening Ukraine, and Russia, will use its cyber attacks against Ukraine. Warfare today is fought both on the battlefield as well as in cyberspace. And so the warfare that even, powerful countries are making, they don't only attack countries, they attack individuals, and they steal credit card details. And so strengthening defenses and your own personal, limiting your exposure online is important. And this course teaches you how to do that and how to teach others how to do that. We're in a new world that none of us, really expected, based on COVID, living with Corona, and what has been its impact on cybersecurity. So there's been a rise in phishing and ransomware attacks. There's increased security risk from remote working. A lot of people work now from home, so that increases risk and vulnerability. An influx of cyber criminals, people who got fired from their job maybe or whatever. So now they said, okay, I guess I'll try to hack for a living. So COVID has really caused the field to grow. Some people have suffered, some businesses have suffered during COVID, but, the cybersecurity industry is flourishing. The market for cybersecurity services is driven by need to protect data and protect ourselves and our assets. But let's say you don't care or you don't believe in the threat, but your company wants to do business with other companies and with some big companies. So then they're going to ask you, okay, do you comply with ISO 2700? Do you comply with GDPR, which is a European regulation? In the US, there's HIPAA laws if you're in the health industry, SOX if you're a publicly traded company. In Israel, we have Chok Haganat Pratiyut. If on your website you have credit card information, so you have to be PCI DSS compliant. So regulations and standard require companies to do penetration testing and to keep the rules and to be up to date in their cybersecurity, which again, for us as cybersecurity professionals, that is helpful. That's driving our business. Everybody needs us. And even if they don't want to need us, the law requires them. So there's a shortage of cybersecurity professionals. Okay, we've established the need. There's a state of war and there's regulations. But what about the supply of workers? So there's a lack of advancement in bridging the cybersecurity skill shortage gap. And this I got again today off the internet. Wanted, millions of cybersecurity pros, salary, whatever you want. In the US, there are, let's call it 880,000 cybersecurity professionals in the workforce, but there's an unfilled need for another 360,000 workers, according to a survey. Globally, the gap is even larger, nearly 3.1 million unfilled positions. So it is hard to get your first job, but as you move up the ladder and you have skills to offer, you're in a very powerful and valuable situation. Let me talk more practically about the class itself, how it works, what you'll be expected to do. So, I hope you've gone to our website, the cyberwisecourse.com website, where we have a list of topics, and I think it answers a lot of your questions on the FAQ page. But to spell it out here, so the course is comprised of attending the weekly class, which is on Sundays from 5 to 10 Israel time, which let's say in New York is from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So that's your Sunday. If you can't make it for any reason, family simcha, whatever. Somebody today in the other class is driving from Florida back home to Toronto. So he said he'll try to tune in from the car, but otherwise everything's recorded. So you can always catch up with the recordings. We encourage everybody who can to be in class because of the atmosphere and the questions you can ask and so forth. But actually, you can catch it all in the recordings. There's something called Slack, which is a shared work channel where people are sharing information and other websites and anything relevant with one another. And so you participate in the Slack channel. There are just about every week there's homework, which are assignments of doing this and doing that, reading about this, writing about that. So those are the assignments. Students present their work in class every once in a while, their Python project, their InfoSec project, and really impressive stuff. People are presenting on a very high level. So you're doing a lot of online research. There are tests, usually multiple choice tests, outside resources. There's a final project at the end of the course, which is something that if you do a good job, you will, make it available and put it on your CV so that your potential employers can take a look at what you've done. And that's very, very powerful when you come to an interview and they say, okay, what do you know about this? And you say, well, I did a project using Python to crack code or whatever. And they say, oh, tell me about that. And what did you do about this? And what did you do about that? So that opens the door to conversation and understanding and showing that you're truly a professional in the field. That's part of the process. Again, our slogan is learn, train, work. Train includes internships in companies and placement, of course. We're going to teach you how to present yourself, to write a powerful CV. I personally will review your CV, and I give about an hour lecture about how to make your CV powerful and focused for what you're doing. And also I give another class about how to conduct yourself in the interview. And we have connections in industry, again, in England, in the US, and it's certainly in Israel. So we're really focused on placement. What about the money? So cybersecurity salaries, how much does a SOC analyst, SOC is a security operations center, how much does a SOC analyst make in the US? I just Googled this, you don't have to believe me, you could Google it yourself. This is already last year. It said the average annual pay for a SAP GRC is 122, this is 104. Very, very, very nice salaries. But the truth is, after a few years in the field, this would be low, okay? You'll do a lot better than this. You will start lower than this. You'll start at, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever. But after a number of months in the field, you can move up really fast. And then, as I said, the sky's the limit. We have a nice program. You could have seen part of it on our website, on the Cyber Stars, where we bring experts from industry, including our own graduates, to address the class for half an hour at the end of class and share what they've learned, which certifications are most valuable, what's it like in the industry, et cetera, et cetera. So we've had an impressive list of people from the field, and that's very important to us, that our course is not just theoretical or abstract, but it's really focused on the marketplace and sharing success and opening doors to success for all of you. So I'm ready to take questions. As I said, there's a lot of answer to some of your questions on the website, cyberwisecourse.com. But if anybody has questions, now is a great time. I went through the stuff.
Hi, Jonathan.
Yes, go ahead. Hello.
So I want to ask a few questions. I've got them written down. Number one, first of all, how do you compare to other degrees out there? So for example, Technion, and I don't know, that's just one I've looked into, is Technion. So
okay, very good question. I'm not something that I would compare it to, but in addition to the Technion, is Yeshiva University has a program. Turo, I think, has a program in cybersecurity. So a college degree is a great thing to have. And I mean, here's the thing, it costs money.
Yeah,
and it takes time. Okay, so that's probably a 3-year investment, 3 or 4 year investment, and a lot of money, including compared to the cost of our course. So will you learn a lot by, getting a degree in computer science or maybe even cybersecurity? The answer is for sure yes. And the Technion
so what I was looking to, sorry to disturb, what I was looking to, it's part of the next question, as in it's also a cybersecurity course. It's also for about a year, and it sounds very similar to this. The only difference is that they're in Ivrit and this is in English. So, but one of the descriptions I heard is like they have real life situations that are solvable, so like simulators and all these things. So I want to know if the learning through Tzomet is with the same thing, or is it more just lectures and then reading material and things like that?
No. So, okay, you're talking about a 1-year program. Very good. Yes, part of the homeworks that you do and the exercises in class are real hacking exercises, using the tools that are used in the industry. I do want to share a story. We had a meeting with one of the executives in Yeshiva University's program. They have a master's in cyber. And we talked to them about what the students know how to do. And they sort of said, well, it's not that they know how to do, they know about cybersecurity. And so we understood it was much more theoretical and not focused on the practical. And again, that's fine as long as they know what people they're buying. But our course is not like that. Our course is, as I said, fingers on keyboard and using the tools, Wireshark, Nmap, Kali. It's very, very focused on using these technical tools, real life problems and so forth, understanding the attacks that are going on in the industry right now. The news is really important in cyber because everything's changing all the time, because the hackers are exploiting whatever technology is out there in order to steal your money and to get power over you. So it's a constantly evolving field. So as you said, our course is in English. I would like to comment on that. We had a course in Hebrew a couple years ago, and we decided to abandon it because the field is in English, even in Israel, okay? So that even if you are a Hebrew speaker, I'm not sure if I have Hebrew speakers here, but even if you're a Hebrew speaker and your English is not great, you should try to force yourself to study this in English, because English is the language of the industry. So that's why the course is in English, and we think that's an important benefit, particularly for our English speakers. Our native English speakers in Israel have a benefit in terms of their writing ability, their ability to write a report about their hacking or about compliance, etc. That's actually a very valuable skill, which is something that helps you get a job, is your comfort in the English language. So that's a plus. So
Thank you,
again, yeah, there are other great programs. We're not the only one in the world. We are small, right? We're a family business, okay? And we really care about all our students, and we're really involved, and really going to focus on helping you get your first job and so forth. So that personal approach is something that, I don't know if the Technion has that, but I guarantee you that we're going to be involved in your studies and your career every step of the way. We're family, so it's just that simple.
Thank you for that. 2 more questions, I'll let you go. You said that it's quite a broad subject, cybersecurity, right? So
yes.
Is it easy to decide on I'm not going to say easy because easy is like a hard word to use, but can you tell from doing this course that, okay, I want to go into this section of cybersecurity, I prefer that, or is it still another whole decision that takes time to make and it's complicated?
Good question. So a student said to me, do you think I'm a red team or a blue teamer? Right? Red team are our attackers and blue teamers are defenders. And I said, it's too early to tell. And the truth is, to give examples of job titles of red teamer, let's say PT, penetration testing, and a blue teamer, let's say a Soc Analyst, they're working in the Soc, defending the company and seeing what threats are coming in. But the companies that we work with, who are, experts in cybersecurity, they say it's a really good thing, even for the people who really want to be red teamers and they want to be pen testers, to start in SOC. Because when you're in the SOC, you're in the Security Operations Center, and you're watching the screens and you're seeing the threats that come in, there's no better experience than that to learn how to hack and how to be a pen tester. So the course is broad and it's comprehensive. It gives you exposure to, a variety of different career pathways. And you probably will not know, even on the last day of the course. You might. There are people that get jobs during the course. And there's people who said, well, I'm not so technical. I'd rather do GRC. I'm more administrative, or I'm more a cyber training person. I'm a cyber sales person. I have sales capabilities. And let me just point that out, that if you know yourself as a salesperson, let me just tell you from experience, that's where the money is. Okay, salespeople make good money on commission. in any business. Okay, I mean, you could sell real estate, but if you have sales personality and you also learn the sprach, you learn the language of cybersecurity because you understand the technology and the threats and the solutions, then you can do really well, really fast. And so, there are some people that know that about themselves and they're able to jump into a very particular position or pathway. But a lot of people who are, starting from scratch, or maybe they're younger in terms of their career development. So no, they won't know right away, which part of the industry they're going to be in. And a lot of times these things are sort of siyata dishmaya, hashgacha pratis. You have to go with the flow. You'll take your first opportunity that comes your way, and then you'll see if you like that, you'll stay with it. And if not, you'll use it as a springboard for something else. So I don't think one should exaggerate the importance of making that decision. Am I going to be red team, blue team, or this, that, or the other thing? It's important. There's a real lot of knowledge here. Okay, there's a ton of information. And you have to get grounding in it in order to know what everybody's talking about. You have to learn how to do stuff. And then you could choose to do the stuff that you want to do, but you have to be also flexible because it takes two to tango. You want to get a job, but you have to find someone who's looking to hire you. And so that won't always be in your favorite thing. And we believe that, the employer has an advantage. They have the money to hire you. And so you sometimes have to go along. The one who pays the piper chooses the tune, okay? So you sometimes have to dance to that tune. Again, not forever, but in your first job. Zevi, more questions?
Yeah, one more. The job employment that you offer, is that can that be delayed, or it has to be straight after?
Absolutely. When I say we're a family, we have people, okay, some of the women, I'm having a baby now, so I'm on maternity, but in 6 months I want to look for a job. And we have a guy who's in Koilil now, and so I don't want to get a job now, but in 6 months or a year and a half I want to get a job. We're here for the long term, okay? This is our life. And so if a person finishes the course and say, okay, right now I'm in yeshiva, whatever, or in college or whatever I'm doing, but in 6 months or a year, they come back to us and we help place them. And because again, the companies are coming to us, right? There's a number of CEOs in Israel. I didn't tell you this. There's a few young companies in Israel that all their workers are from Tzomet. Okay, all their employees, or at least all their younger employees, are from our program, and they're very, very happy with them. And let me explain that for a minute. A lot of the people who would work in this industry might be sort of geeks, or sort of, very technical people who don't have much life or personality. I'm generalizing, but you understand what I'm talking about. The people in our program tend to be fuller people, okay? Where this is a person who's part of a family or whatever, but they're whole people. And so the quality of people in our program is very, very high. And so when companies have hired our graduates, they only want to hire our graduates after that. And so we really have a few companies where it's a Beis Yaakov atmosphere there. Everyone there is a Charedi woman. And there's a company that their Soc is Beis Yaakov, and their PT, they have another room where the guys, it's like Koilel. There's 3 or 4 Charedi guys who are doing their PT. And so my point is that when someone comes back to us a year later and says, okay, I've been busy with something in life, but I'm ready to work now, we're happy to put that person to work because the companies are asking us, send us more, okay? We want your talent. And so you guys are in demand. And so if you have something else going on in your life at this juncture and you want to postpone, that's okay. Call us back when you're ready.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zevi. Any other questions?
Hi, John, and I've got a question.
Yes, Yossi.
As I told you before, I'm from Gibraltar. At the moment, I'm currently studying in Israel, but when I go back, is there any way you can help me with job placements there? Or is it only in England?
No. We have hired people on Tzomet's staff to help work as placement coordinators. And we have on LinkedIn, we're very on social media where we try to be active and create connections. So we're going to Google cyber companies in Gibraltar, whatever. We're going to look for remote possibilities of working, whether it's for an English or a Spanish or an Israeli company in Gibraltar. That possibility also exists. But we're absolutely committed to helping you find a job wherever you are.
Amazing. Thank you.
Sure. Is that Avram Schreiber that we hear? I think so, because everyone else is muted.
Right now I have a job from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Obviously Sundays I could take off, but would it be like a challenge to study?
Absolutely, it will be a challenge. You know, we've said sometimes on different pieces of paper, different things, you know, 5 hours in class. Outside of class, you're going to want to put in a really close to 10 hours, okay? And some people have said you really should say 20. So it depends on different people and where you're holding in life and how much time you have to give. And obviously, the more you put in, the more you take out. But you do have to study outside of class, and 5 hours I think is a minimum, like an hour a day of the weekdays. I mean, if you wanted, whether you're going to do it every night, or you're going to do it on Fridays or Motzei Shabbos or whenever you're going to do it. But will that be challenging to maintain your full-time job and to study? It absolutely will be challenging. Have people done it? Yes, people have done it. I mean, 7 to 7, that's a really long work day. So again, it will be hard, but not impossible. So you'd have to have a strong will to do that. But again, it's possible.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, my pleasure.
Do you have any fully in-person classes, or you don't?
We do not. We used to. And we found that having like partially online and partially in class wasn't good. And having only in person, that limited it to people more or less in Yerushalayim or coming from Beit Shemesh, whatever. So no, we've gone to the online route and found that works really good for us. Okay. Anybody else? If
yes,
not,
I had a question.
Yes, Naomi.
Yes. I understand that you start 2 times a year. You have enrollment like in February and then again in August, or an L time.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a difference in the classes, or I mean, I guess one goes over the summer through the summer, one technically doesn't go through the summer. Like otherwise, is there any difference in what's being offered, or?
Oh, same exact syllabus, identical syllabus. In point of fact, it's 2 different teachers, and each teacher has a personality. I don't mind telling you, the teacher in the Elul cohort is a Mexican Jew who lives in Israel. He lives now in Kiryat something up near Haifa, Kiryat Ata. He's a great guy. He speaks English well. He spent some time in New York. He's a professional hacker. He works with us hacking. His name is Leo Khustovich. The one who teaches our winter cohort is a young Israeli named Omer Kerner. And Omer is a veteran of Israel's top cyber unit. He was a commander it's a very secret unit. Like, we can't tell you. I don't know anything. I know what I've Googled about it. It's been around since the beginning of the Medina. It's a very top cyber unit. It's not 8200, it's called Unit 81. And it's really secret what they do, so he can never tell us. But they take people like himself he's really smart. He's a medical student. And he learned cyber there, and then he taught cyber there, and he loves to teach. So Omer's a really warm and wonderful teacher. He's the one who'll be teaching this class that begins now in February. That's who the teacher will be. Okay. If there are no other questions, and again, if you come up with questions, you could always email me. And I believe you've been in contact with Mrs. Dvorah Erlinger, who works with us. So you can use the website to contact us, or my email. In fact, let me put my email right now in the chat, just so everybody can see it. Oh, that I get it to David. Let me send it to everyone. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, jrtzomet@gmail.com is my email. If you have any questions or follow-up issues, whatever, I'm happy to address them. I thank everybody for participating in the open house this evening. It's recorded. I'm going to make it available. So I wish you the best, whether you choose to take the course now, in the future, or not at all. You should have bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadaychem. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Good night.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Good night.
All too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nami.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina.